Thank you so much.
Let's ask Senator Booker
No, but
about that.
are you worried? Do you
No,
think, do you think that he?
No, I don't know whether it's clear to the president what we're trying to do is reauthorize CHIP long-term,
Right.
and not just for 30 days. I will tell you that lurching from one CR to the other without solving these problems is an unacceptable way to run our government.
Do you think Democrats should take a stand for Dreamers and not vote for this?
I think we ought to take a stand for sanity. This is the 4th CR we've had this year. In this great nation, we can't come up with a budget.
If for any reason it shuts down, the worst thing is what happens to our military. We're rebuilding our military. We're bringing it to a level that it's never been at. And the worst thing is for our military. We don't want that to happen.
How do you negotiate with Democrats and your own members?
Now,
if you're not sure where he stands?
I am sure where he stands. He fully supports passing this legislation. I just talked to him about an hour and a half ago.
We will be opposing of this continuing resolution because while they put the CHIP program in there, they do not put the accompanying provisions that make CHIP work. This is like giving you a bowl of doggy doo, put a cherry on top and call it a chocolate sundae.
I really believe the Democrats want to shut down to get off the subject of the tax cuts because they've worked so well. Nobody thought, including the Democrats, they could work this well.
It's nasty in Washington, but step by step by step, just keep going, right? It is a nasty place. Woo.
On this, the yeas are 230, the nays are 197. The motion is adopted without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
The House bill is a joke, and it does not have my support. It leaves too much undone. What attempts to address is woefully inadequate. Now, if the majority now wants bipartisan support, why not do as we always used to, work with Democrats?
The presidency under our constitutional system is not irrelevant. He is the person who signs things into law. And for most of us in the House and Senate, on the Republican side, we're interested in what his views are, and those have not been made fully apparent yet.
The yeas are 97, the nays are 2, and the motion is agreed to.
The Senate will come to order.
To even repeat this position out loud is to see how completely ridiculous it is. Now that we're 13 hours away from a government shutdown that Democrats would initiate and Democrats would own, the craziness of this seems to be dawning on my friend, the Democratic leader.
The reality is there is no legislation for them to pull up. They say there's this Flake, Durbin, Graham proposal. There is not legislation to vote on. So when they say we need to have DACA solved before you do a continuing resolution to keep the government open, there isn't actually a bill for them to even vote on.
If the government does shut down, who's to blame?
Oh, look, I mean, I think the American people understand that President Trump is in the White House. He's the only person who's called for a, quote, good government shutdown. I have news for the president. There is no good government shutdown. And Republicans control the House and the Senate.
I'm surprised that Democrats are willing to shut down the government and deprive citizens of services, to include sick and poor kids of health insurance, because they're not getting amnesty for millions of illegal immigrants.
Okay, I'm going to be brief. I'm not going to answer any questions. Okay? We had a long and detailed meeting. We discussed all of the major outstanding issues. We made some progress, but we still have a good number of disagreements. The discussions will continue.
Progress
Thank
on
you.
what? Shutdown? Progress on shutdown tonight?
Again, I think there's a deal in the next 24 hours because of the nature of the back and forth between the House and the Senate. I look at more of it in terms of what gets done before the offices are supposed to open on Monday, and I think you're going to see a deal. Yes, sir.
I ask unanimous consent that notwithstanding Rule 22, the Senate vote on the motion to invoke cloture on the motion to concur in the House amendment to the Senate amendment at 10 p.m. tonight.
The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the motion to concur in the House amendment to the Senate amendment to H.R. 195 shall be brought to a close? The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Alexander. Aye. Ms. Baldwin.